So we might as
Come
well
on,
start it
Nick.
off. I say let's do it.
Let's do it.
So this one's about Marie. Now Marie went to the doctor for her annual checkup the other day. When Boudreaux got home that afternoon, the first sight that greeted him was Marie, standing naked, admiring herself in the mirror. So Boudreaux said, "Mais Cherie, why in the world are you doing?" Now Marie, obviously proud of herself, said, "Boudreaux, I went to the doctor today and he told me I got the breast of a 25-year-old." Now Boudreaux, not being one to let a good chance pass him by, said, "Oh yeah? What he said about that 50-year-old ass of yours." Now Marie, not to be outdone, answered, "Well, come to think about it, Boudreaux, he didn't mention you at all." The
Wow.
50-year-old ass.
Mhm.
I think I might have another one about a doctor in here. But I ain't gonna look too hard for it. Now, Boudreaux and Thibodeau decided to leave their jobs one day at the crawfish farm. Now they figured they'd get a bigger and better job, so they went to New Orleans and got a job at one of the breweries. Now, just a couple weeks after they started, Thibodeau fell into the beer vat and drowned.
Oh no.
Oh
Yeah.
no,
So it
Thibodeau.
fell on Boudreaux to go back to Catahoula and tell Miss Thibodeau that her husband had drowned. Boudreaux said, "Clotilde, I'm sorry to have to be the one to tell you this, but Boudreaux done gone and drowned himself in the beers." Now Clotilde asked, "Oh my, did he suffer a lot?" "No, I don't think so, because before he drowned, he climbed out of that vat twice to go to the bathroom."
Oh man. That was good.
All right, I'm gonna do one more before we let somebody else make us laugh. Now, Boudreaux and Thibodeau, they went fishing down at the turning basin the other day. They rented a boat at the landing, had a fantastic day of fishing, caught a boatload. Now, Boudreaux said to Thibodeau, "Man, we're gonna have to remember this spot for next time." And Thibodeau answered, "Man, that's no problem. We'll mark the spot." So Boudreaux said, "How you gonna mark the spot? We in the water." Thibodeau said, "Man, that's no problem." And he leans over the side of the boat and he puts a big old X on the side of the boat with a big piece of chalk. Boudreaux said, "Man, you just a couillon. That's not gonna help us. How you know we gonna get the same boat next time?"
Oh no.
Wow.
You know, 'cause they rented that boat, and you never know what flat you're gonna end up with.
Not to mention the X was
That's
on the boat.
funny. Hey, Cat.
All right, who wants to come up here and be
I'll do
next?
it.
All
I'll
right,
do it.
Endor the Doc. Welcome, Doc, to the
Hey,
stage.
Endora.
Yay.
Hey, hey everybody.
Hi guys.
All
Voila.
right. So tonight, since we've hello, we picked on the doctors enough for one evening, I thought I'd pick on the military again because I ran across a few more things. Remember, I told you a couple weeks ago I used to keep a diary and I used to write all the jokes out and all the little funny anecdotes of things that happened. Like my unit we used to give out the Weenie Award. So, anyways, science just they struggle to explain the exact reason why people laugh. And yeah, the concept of humor itself is elusive, but we all know that humor is subjective. And even though everyone understands intuitively what humor is, dictionaries may define it simply. But you know what? The military has its own spin for this.
I bet.
And in this day and age where we've got a lot of adversity, humor is going to be the best medicine, let me tell you. So, it improves your immunity, it relaxes you, it's a natural pain reducer, or if you're in the military, it's a royal pain in the ass, and it acts like an emotional release. And and it reduces the tension in the room. So, and it also, as everybody knows, it brings people together. And it makes forgiveness a little easier. So I wanted to give a little, public service announcement there. We forgive everybody. So, anyways, anybody know why the Air Force and the Army and the Navy and the Marines bicker amongst themselves? Because they don't say what happens after they secure a building. So, the Army, they'll post a guard around the building, and the Navy, they'll turn out the lights and lock the doors. And the Marines will kill everybody inside and set up a headquarters. But the Air Force, they will take out a 5-year lease with an option to buy it at the end. And so there was this guy, you've all heard of the Air Force's ultra high security Secret Service base, super secret base in Nevada called Area 51.
Oh, yeah.
Well, one late afternoon, the Air Force folks are out at Area 51. They were surprised to see this Cessna landing on a secret base. And if anybody knows, it was my ex-boss, Colonel Snow, who couldn't fly to save his ass. But anyways, they immediately impounded the aircraft, hauled the pilot into the interrogation room, and the pilot's story was that he took off from Vegas, he got lost, he spotted the base, he was about to run out of fuel, yada, yada, yada. Well, the Air Force, they did their full background FBI check crap and whatever, and held him overnight during the investigation. And the next day, they were finally convinced that this pilot really wasn't a spy. They gassed up his airplane, gave him a terrifying, you didn't see the base briefing, and complete with threats and spending the rest of his life in prison, and told him Vegas was that way and in such and such a heading, and sent him on his way. The day after, they thought, in total belief, the Air Force came back. The same Cessna showed up again. But once again, the MPs surrounded the plane, only this time there were 2 people in the plane. Well, the pilot jumped out and said, "Do anything you want to me, but my wife is in the plane. You have to tell her I was here last night."
I was going to ask you, this is a true story.
So, what do you call kids in the military? Anybody know? The infantry.
Military brats, yeah.
The infantry.
Oh, geez.
And so, how we out in out in the Navy, or out in we go out, all the branches always go out in the field, and so this rain was, there was this out, we're out in the field, and the rain was pouring in a big big puddle in front of the pub just outside of a Navy base, actually, and it was a ragged old Marine gunnery sergeant standing there with the edge with a fishing rod in line with the puddle. Curious young Navy fighter pilot came over to him and asked what he was doing, and the guy says fishing. Just simply said he was fishing. Poor old fool Navy officer thought he'd invite a ragged old Marine into the pub for a drink. As he felt he should start some conversation while they were sipping their whiskey, the smart-ass fighter pilot says, "How many have you caught?" The old gunny looked at him, smiled, and said, "You're the 8th."
Oh, drinks.
Drinks. How do you play Air Force bingo? A10, B52, and F16.
There you go.
That'll do it.
What's the difference between God and an Air Force pilot? God doesn't think he's an Air Force pilot. So a platoon sergeant. So again, we're out in the field. They're military out in the field a lot. Platoon sergeant, platoon leader are bunked into the same field at night. Platoon sergeant looks up and says, "When you see all the stars in the sky, what do you think, sir?" "Well, sergeant, well, sir," he says, "privates probably, but definitely not sergeants." And then the lieutenant says, "Well, you know how insignificant we really are in this universe, but I can't help to wonder truly what it means, what makes you think any difference of what you think." So the sergeant says, "Well, sir, it's like this." As he looks up in the sky, "I think somebody stole our tent."
Oh no.
So what does the Army stand for? The Air Force rejected me yesterday.
Ooh.
So we're gonna include the Navy. We don't want to leave this out. This was an actual radio transcript conversation between a U.S. naval ship and the Canadian authorities off the coast of Newfoundland in October of
Cool.
1995. The radio conversation was released by the Chief of Naval Operations actually in 1995, but I think this happened before it, just before them. So this is the U.S. ship. "Please divert your course 0.5 degrees to the south to avoid collision." This is the Canadian authorities. "Recommend you divert 15 degrees to the south to avoid collision." Ship comes back. "This is the captain of a U.S. Navy ship. I say again, divert your course." Canadian authorities come back and say, "Nah, I say again, you divert your course." This captain's getting really hot at this point. "This is the aircraft carrier USS Coral Sea. We are a large warship in the Navy. Divert your course now." Canadian authorities come back with, "Well, this is a lighthouse. Your call." Remember something, if the enemy is in sight, so are you, and friendly fire is not so friendly. Thank you very much. You've been a wonderful audience.
That
Yay.
was awesome.
Yay.
Thank you, Endora. Hey.
Yeah, big hand for Doc.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Now, remember I told y'all that they got a lot of Boudreaux down in Coon Ass Land? Well, this is the older Boudreaux. And of course, he got an older friend, Thibodeau. Now, even an Abear. They all old. So Boudreaux, Thibodeau, and Abear were all getting up in years. One day they was discussing the drawbacks of old age, and Abear says, "Me, I wake up every day at 7 o'clock, and I got to pee real bad. So I goes to the bathroom, stand there, and just strain and try, and nothing comes out but a little drip." Now Boudreaux said, "Yeah, I know what you mean. Me, I wake up at 8 o'clock every day, go to the duty, and I gotta poop real bad. I go to the bathroom, try really hard, but all I get is a little bitty old plop." Now Thibodeau says with tears in his eyes, "Man, me, I pee like a thoroughbred at 7 o'clock, and I poop like a goose at 8 o'clock every morning." Now Boudreaux and Abe ask him, "So what's the problem? Why you crying?" Thibodeau says, "The problem is that I don't wake up till 9." I thought that one was funny.
Yeah, it was.
How do you know what time it was?
Well, if you could sleep through all that, you know, that's pretty good. Now Boudreaux decided to go play a game of golf with his friends Thibodeau and Abe one morning. Now he promised Marie that he would be home in time for lunch. Well, lunchtime rolled around and Boudreaux not home. Mid-afternoon came and went, and still no Boudreaux. Supper time done passed, and Boudreaux finally showed up about an hour after. Now Marie, a little bit ticked off about this. She said, Boudreaux, where in the hell you done been? You say you gonna be home by lunch. Here it is, dark night, dark time, and you just now getting home. Now Boudreaux said, Marie, don't get on my case. My good friend Thibodeau, well, he died on the golf course this morning. Now Marie said, oh Boudreaux, I'm so sorry. I can understand. I'm making arrangements and visiting with Clotilde and all that. I understand now why you're so late. Now Boudreaux said, funeral? What funeral? It was hit the ball, drag Thibodeau. Hit the ball, drag Thibodeau. Hit the ball, drag Thibodeau. It took me and Abe all day to finish that damn game. All right. I got a few more, but I'm going to save them. And I think Gleesa says she wants to come up here and tell a couple.
Yay,
I know
Gleesa.
you got
So
a
everybody,
few.
let's give a warm
I-
welcome to Gleesa.
Actually, I do. Oops, I gotta. Come on, walk, girl. Well, most of you know I work at a bank, so I thought I'd give you some bank jokes. So,
Yay.
give a man a gun, and he will rob a bank. Give a man a bank, and he will rob everyone. Now,
It's true.
what did the football coach say when he went to the bank? I want my quarterback. And I almost lost my job. I was telling everybody this the other day. I got called into the supervisor's office because this old lady came in and asked me to check her balance, so I tipped her over.
Oh,
Did she fall?
Yeah.
Balance wasn't too great, was it?
No.
you didn't have too much balance.
So if you have no interest in banking, you're not alone.
Oh my God.
Why was the wood chopper arrested at the bank? He walked into a bank, pointed a long, thin piece of wood at the ceiling, and shouted, "This is a stick up."
Oh my goodness.
And if money talks, why do we need bank tellers?
That's
Right.
true.
Right.
And when does it rain money? When there is a change in the weather.
Oh,
Ah.
I wish it would do that more often.
A naked man robbed a bank. Nobody could remember his face.
Smart.
A basketball player and a horse jockey just robbed the bank. The police are looking high and low for the culprits. Why did the bank owner buy cows? To beef up security.
That's a good one.
Oh God.
What do you call a man with a head full of change? Headquarters. You know, I've heard this before. People who rob jewelry stores and banks are pretty bad. But the people who rob bakeries really take the cake.
Yeah.
Oh,
Literally.
And why are Irish bankers so successful?
Oh, I don't know.
Because their capital's always Dublin.
Always Dublin. Right.
oh my goodness.
You know, my dad always said, work until your bank account looks like a phone number. So I did. Account balance, 9.11. What did the nut say when he held up the bank? Give me all the cash you have. Cash you have?
Oh, that kind of nut.
Yes, you
Okay.
have. I got it. Okay. Got it.
All right, so here's something to make you think. If money doesn't grow on trees, then why do banks have branches?
I know.
That's a good one.
A criminal robbed a bank wearing a suit made of many mirrors, but he turned himself in after taking some time to reflect. Luckily, the judge was lenient as he saw a lot of himself in the young man.
Oh
That's
my
dumb.
God.
You know, this is funny because my grandmother used to do this. She used to say that, you know, if you ever get robbed, nobody looks in the freezer. So now I've just given the biggest hiding place in the world.
Now they all do.
Why did the little old lady put her money in the freezer? She wanted some cold, hard cash.
Yeah.
Cold hard cash. That's where politicians keep it.
Yeah, and that's the price they
Yeah.
look now.
I am about to quit my job, though. I really am.
Oh,
I'm about to quit my job at the bank. You can say I just lost interest.
Oh man.
Did you hear about the gold digger? Now, I don't know how many gold diggers there are around here. This is an old kind of statement, but they enjoy leisurely, romantic strolls over to the Bank of America.
Okay. Hope I got that one.
What's the hardest? This is okay. What is the hardest part about being addicted to banking? The withdrawals.
Oh man.
All right.
Good Johnny Castle. That's awesome. That was a good one.
All right. So I'm going to leave you with something that's not a bank joke. I've told this recently, so it might be familiar. What is the difference between a dirty Greyhound station and a Lobster with implants? One's a dusty bus station and the other's a busty crust station. And that's all I have for you guys tonight.
Yay.
Yay.
Way to go, Lee.
All right. Big hand for Gleesa.
Thank you.
All that talking about money
Awesome.
made me remember this story about Boudreaux when he won the lottery. Now, we got a lottery in Louisiana, believe it or not. And Boudreaux, one day he done won $10 million. Now, the next morning after winning, he got in his pick 'em up truck and he drove all the way to Baton Rouge to collect his money. Because, you know, that's the capital and they got all the money. So he tells the lottery man, yeah, I'm Boudreaux. I won the lottery and I want my money. The lottery man said, well, Mr. Boudreaux, it don't work quite that way. You can't have all the money at one time, but we'll pay you $500,000 every year for like the next 20 years. Boudreaux, no, that ain't good. No, chef, I won the lottery and I want my money and I want my money right now. I ain't gonna wait 20 years to get it. Now, the man tries to calm Boudreaux down, telling him that's just, look, man, that's how the lottery works. That's how you're gonna get it. Now, Boudreaux, he's fuming. He says, man, if that's the way y'all want to be, just never mind. Here's your damn lottery ticket. Give me my dollar back.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you know them. He's stubborn coon ass. Now, Boudreaux and Thibodeau, just the other day, they were walking through the woods. And Boudreaux grabbed Thibodeau by the arm, pulling back real fast. He said, whoa, Thibodeau, look at that big old hole you almost stepped in and fell. Thibodeau looked down at the hole and he said, whoa, man, that sure is a deep hole. I wonder how deep it goes. So they look around, they find a rock, they throw that down into the hole. You know, they listening, they bending over, got their ears down, wait for it to hit the bottom. Well, it never does. They never hear it. So they find a bigger rock and they repeat the process. And still, they don't hear it hit. Now, Thibodeau, looking around, notices a railroad tie. You know, one of the big old wooden pieces of 4x4 or something, big old piece of wood. So he grabs that thing and throws it down in a hole. Well, while they listening for the railroad tie to hit the bottom, a billy goat come flying by, run through the bushes, and jump down the hole. I mean, he done run right through him, almost knocked Thibodeau on his butt. Now, a few minutes later, A-Bear come walking around. Says he's whistling and he's looking side to side. And would just say, "A-Bear, what you doing out here in the woods like this?" Well, I'm out here looking for my little billy goat. Thibodeau says, "You want to hear something funny? The strangest thing just happened. A little billy goat just come running by out those bushes right over there, jumped right in that deep hole." A-Bear said, "Oh no, that can't be pot. That couldn't have been my billy goat, 'cause I had my billy goat tied up to that railroad tie over there on the other side of the bushes." All right, I got one more about Thibodeau. Now, Thibodeau went down to the grocery store the other day to get some detergents, laundry detergent. The grocer asked him why he needed such a large box of detergent because, Thibodeau picked up this big old, like, 40-pound box or something, big old box. Thibodeau said, man, that's to give my coon dog a bath. And you know how big he is, big old dog. And the grocer looks at it and said, Tip, I don't think you should use that stuff on your dog. It's very strong, might get him sick, it could even kill him. Now Thibodeau done had his mind made up, and he took detergent. About a week later, he passed by the store, and the grocer asked him how his dog was. Thibodeau said, man, my dog died. And the grocer said, Tip, I tried to tell you that stuff was too strong. Now, you see what you done did, right? And Thibodeau said, oh, no, no. I don't think it was the detergent that killed him. I think it was the spin cycle.
Oh man.
All right. I'm a dog lover, so I really didn't know if I should read that one, but
Well, I
now
am
what the
too,
hell.
but it was funny.
All right. Open mic. Anybody who wants to be next?
Why? You must have some for us tonight, huh?
I was just going to make one statement. I think is funny is a lot of car car wash places have dog washers in the car wash where you can actually pick like the skunk thing. You could take them in, hook them there, and shampoo your dog at the car wash. Pretty
Really?
cool.
I
Yeah.
ain't never seen that.
Oh yeah.
I gotta look
I
that
mean,
up.
Man,
it's
y'all
not
some
like you
fancy people up north,
go with
man.
the
That
buffers and the waxers and all that. No, it's off to the side. I think it's one of those where you wash your own car. You can wash your own dog in
Now I
there.
did see a video on YouTube. I think this dog was like washing himself in a car wash. He was like going up to that spinning thing and leaning into it and stuff. was pretty cool.
You know, every place
All right.
on those do-it-yourself.
All right, everybody, let's welcome Y. Give Y a big hand.
Y.
All right, Y.
Okay, wow.
Has asked me for a TP, and I said Jenny needs to TP you because I'm on stage and I don't want you to land on the stage. But anyway, I'm going to do. Jenny's here.
If they can get on stage if they want to joke.
Well, I'm on stage right now, so I don't want to TP him right where I'm sitting on my head.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all. I'm going to do the world's shortest books to begin with. The world's shortest books. The first one is a guide to French hospitality. You might not get that if you have never been to France. Okay.
No, they're not very hospitable.
Yeah, right.
The second one is Amelia Earhart's Guide to the Pacific.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
The third one's Career Opportunities for History Majors.
Wait a minute. Okay.
Then the next one's Different Ways to Spell Bob. Well, let's see. B-O-B, C-B-O, O-B-B. Okay. The next one is Everything Men Know About Women.
I got that.
And of course, Everything Women Know About Men, of course, would be following that. The Amish Phone Directory.
Oh my God. Well, there wouldn't be any.
The Australian Book of Foreplay. I haven't had an Aussie man, but I don't know. All right, the Big Book of Tasty Bile Recipes. Gleesa, I think you'd like that one. The Book of French Military Victories. The Engineer's Guide to Fashion.
Well, there you go.
No, there ain't none.
Well, you put pens in your pocket. I know that. That's the only thing I know about that.
Oh, I was thinking about railroad engineers.
Okay.
Wrong engineer.
All right. The Lawyer's Code of Ethics.
Oh, there isn't.
Yeah, there's none. It's very short. The Ronald Reagan Memoirs. That's kind of hard to say because my sister has Alzheimer's. But anyway, The Very Best German Humor. The Very Best German Humor. Things I Can't Afford by Bill Gates.
Oh my God.
And Zagot's Guide to Cities Without a Starbucks.
No way.
There's a lot
Now.
of cities without Starbucks.
Well, now we've got funny books. These are funny books.
Take your time, hon. Take it. I could.
A Young Man's Guide to Dating by Caesar Titley.
Caesar Titley.
Hey, Captain.
Bank Robbery by Xavier Mooney. Xavier Mooney.
David Mooney.
Carpet Laying by Walter Wall. Challenging Uncertainty by R.U. Shaw. Are you Shaw? Costume Jewelry by Faye Kearings.
Oh my.
Oh my goodness.
Dating Period Furniture by Antique.
That's good.
That's cute.
Dealing with Alcoholism by Carrie M. Holm.
Oh,
Drop Your Shorts by Lucy Lastic.
Oh my goodness.
Lucy Lastic?
Lucy Lastic, yeah.
Loose.
Eating Cheap by Roland Marge.
Take notes, because these are some great SL names.
They are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Entertaining with Friends by Maud DeMarrier. Maud DeMarrier, the more DeMarrier. Fun at the Fairground by Felix Eited. Whee!
We.
How to Make an Igloo by S.K. Moe.
Oh my goodness. Curly.
I Was a Failed Lion Tamer by Claude Bottom. Improve Your Memory by Ivor Gott. Keeping Caged Birds by Ken Airy. Canary?
Oh, okay.
Living with Large Families by Bertha Twins. My Favorite Sandwich by Hammond Tongue. My Political Memoirs by Liza Lott.
Actually, live a lot. Yeah.
Reading Problems by Liz Dexia. She has dyslexia, I guess.
Yeah.
Sailing for Beginners by A Ballsy Man. A Ballsy Man, I guess. She Stoops to Conquer by Eileen Dover.
Oh, yeah.
Simple Tattoos by Marcus Allover. All over. Marcus all over. Marcus all over.
All over.
Yeah. The Big Book of Polish Jokes by Die Laughin'. The Expectant Bride by Marius Ina Hurry. The Library Thieves by M.T. Shelves. Runaway Bull by Gay Topin.
Oh, my goodness.
The Stripper by Eva Drozov. The Typical Scot by Titus Canby. Titus can be.
Yeah.
All right, those are those.
Wait a minute.
At any
I
rate.
have one for you in that category.
Okay, do it.
Rusty Bed Springs by I.P. Knightley.
That's a good one. Well, we can think of a bunch of our own. All right, so I had left over some, well, it's getting late, so I'll just come back after Fiddler if you want me to.
Not getting up on, so continue.
Oh, you're not? Okay, well, I had my leftover, because it's still March, I'm going to finish my St. Patty's Day jokes. So Patty went to his local supermarket after a lunchtime session doing some shopping. With his list, he went to reach for the largest cucumber in the shop, and this big, tall, sexy blonde went to grab the same one. Oh, yeah, I bet I know why you'd be wanting the biggest one, he winked. You got me, she giggled. You fancy coming back to mine and watching? Oh, no thanks, says Patty. I got better things to do with me time than be standing around watching a woman make sandwiches. Cyrusman went to a confession in St. Patrick's Catholic Church. Father, he said, it's been 1 month now since my last confession, and I was intimate with Fanny Green twice last month. The priest says to the sinner, you are forgiven. Go out and say 3 Hail Marys. Well, soon thereafter, another Irishman entered the confessional. Father, it's been 2 months since my last confession. I've had sex with Fanny Green twice a week for the past 2 months. This time the priest says, who is Fanny Green? Oh, he says, a new woman in the neighborhood, Father. Very well, sighed the priest. Go say 10 Hail Marys. Well, at Mass the next morning, the priest prepared to deliver the sermon, and just as he's starting, a tall, voluptuous, drop-dead, gorgeous, redhead woman enters the sanctuary. The eyes of every man in the church fell upon her as she slowly sashayed up the aisle and sat down right in front of the priest. Her dress was green and really short. She had matching shiny emerald green shoes. The priest and the altar boy gasped as the woman in the green dress and matching green shoes sat with her legs spread slightly apart, just enough to realize she wasn't wearing any underwear. The priest turned to the altar boy and he said, is that Fanny Green? And the bug-eyed altar boy, he couldn't believe his ears. But he managed to calmly say, no, Father, I think it's just a reflection from her shoes. I've just seen Patty in the local newsagent, and one of his shoelaces was untied. So I said, watch out you don't trip up over your laces, Patty. And Patty says, yeah, it's those bloody instructions. I said, what instructions, Patty? Patty says, well, underneath the shoe it says Taiwan.
Oh, God.
Taiwan. Okay. Patty, Irishman, checks into a hotel for the first time in his life and goes up to his room. 5 minutes later, he calls the desk and he says, you've given me a room with no exit. How do I leave? And the desk clerk's like, sir, that's absurd. Have you looked for the door? Patty, Irishman, says, well, there's one door that leads to the bathroom. There's a second door. Goes to the closet. And then there's this door I haven't tried, but it's got this do not disturb sign on it. The clan, Mick, and Seamus entered their local pub's weekly raffle, and to their surprise, they each won a prize. The clan, a bottle of whiskey, Mick, a large turkey, and Seamus, a toilet brush. Well, the next week they meet again in a pub and talk about their prizes. The clan extolled the pleasures of a smooth Irish whiskey. Mick reported the turkey was the most delicious he'd ever tasted. Seamus looked kind of glum when asked about the toilet brush, and he said, well, it wasn't that great. I think I'll go back to using toilet paper.
Oh, man.
And that was my last for the night, boys and girls.
What Seamus did.
He put himself to shame.
All right, I got a couple more Boudreaux jokes.
Yay.
Maybe just enough to wrap up the night. Now, if anybody else has something they want to contribute, you just got to say so. All right. So Boudreaux, Thibodeau, and this guy from Texas. Well, Aggie land. Because the Texas Aggies,
Okay.
which is not Louisiana. All right. So Boudreaux, Thibodeau, and this guy from Aggie land got a job working on a big bridge in Krotz Springs. And one day they took out their lunch break, and Boudreaux looked inside his lunchbox, slammed it down, said, God damn it, if I got to eat gumbo one more time, I'm going to jump off this bridge. Now Thibodeau opened up his box. Damn, if I got to eat fricassee one more time, I'm going to jump off that bridge with you. Now the Aggie looks in his and says, boys, if I have to eat bologna sandwiches one more time, I'm going to jump with y'all. Now the next day, they stop for lunch. Sure enough, gumbo, fricassee, bologna sandwiches. All three jump off the bridge. All three die. Now at the funeral home, Miss Boudreaux tell the other two widows, if I had known that Boudreaux was so tired of gumbo, I would have just made him something else. And Miss Thibodeau, she agrees. Said, well, if I'd have known Thibodeau had enough of that fricassee, I'd have made him something different too. Now the Aggie's widow pipes up. She said, well, what I don't know about my husband, that son bitch makes his own lunch. Them Aggies, they ain't too smart. They ain't too smart.
That was great.
Awesome.
All right. Did y'all know that Boudreaux was a helicopter pilot?
No.
Nope. Now you do. So Boudreaux was a helicopter pilot for the oil company down in South Louisiana. Now, one day while flying in from offshore, Boudreaux decided he had time to land at his house, grab a bite to eat. Now, he landed. His buddy Thibodeau saw him from across the road and come running over. Thibodeau said, man, if you give me a few tips, I bet I could fly that there helicopter. Now, Boudreaux, being the good friend he is, give Thibodeau some, quick lesson on how to fly that helicopter. Thibodeau get in, start the copter up, pull the stick up, chopper shoot straight up in the air, higher and higher and higher, finally going through the clouds and out of sight. A few minutes later, maybe 5 or 4, chopper comes straight back down just as fast as it had gone up and smashed straight into the ground. Boudreaux run over to the demolished bird and asked Thibodeau as he crawling out the wreckage, "Yo, Tib, what happened?" Thibodeau said, "Man, Boudreaux, I was doing just fine, but it's getting pretty cold up there, up in them clouds. And the higher I got, the colder it was getting. So I turned off that big old fan overhead."
Oh
Right,
man.
the fan, like a ceiling fan.
Yeah, exactly. That would do it. One thing with a plane, you can glide. With a helicopter, you drop.
Yeah, he's straight down,
You
straight down.
got it.
Now, one day Marie, well, not one day, but this is like always. Marie was after Boudreaux to do some repairs around the house. Now, Boudreaux's philosophy on life was never do today what you could put off till tomorrow. Now, Marie, she was just getting a little frustrated with old Boudreaux's philosophy. One day, while Boudreaux was working in the fields, Thibodeau come by the house and noticed that Marie was upset. Now, Thibodeau, being the good man that he is, said, "What's wrong there, Marie?" "That damn Boudreaux," she replied. "I asked him to fix the leaky toilet, and he tell me, 'Marie, do you see plumber written on my forehead?' Now I asked him to fix the front porch, and he say, 'Marie, do you see carpenter written on my forehead?' Now I asked him to fix the light switch, and he say, 'Do you see electrician written on my forehead?' I'm gonna tell you, Tib, I can't get that man to fix nothing." Now Thibodeau says, now I can fix all that stuff for you, Marie." Now Marie said, "But Thibodeau, you know I can't pay you no money." "Sure, I'm sure we could work us out a little deal. How about either make me a cake, or we can go out a little romp around in the hay for a little bit. Call everything even." Now, Boudreaux, this is the next day. Boudreaux come home later that day, well, the next day. And Marie can't help but rubbing in the fact that she got Thibodeau to fix all the stuff she had been after him to fix. And all Thibodeau wanted was a cake or a romp in the hay. Now, Boudreaux asked her, "Well, that sure was nice, Thibodeau. What kind of cake you done made for him?" Marie said, "Boudreaux, do you see Betty Crocker written across my forehead?"
I like that one.
That was a long one, but that was a funny
That's a
one.
good one.
And
I
that's
like
all I
that.
got. That's all I got. That's it. Completed.
Awesome. Thank
Cocoon
you, Nick.
ass is empty.
Awesome, brother.
Anybody else got one or two or three they got to say? If not, we're going to call it a night and say thank you everybody for coming, and come back next week. And I'm going to give myself a big old round of applause. Yay,
There
yay.
you go.
I get the applause, you too, brother. We all work. Awesome.